Peace. What's up? It's your brother Hollop here with another show for you tonight. And the title of the show is The Struggle Fetish. Have Black African people in America turned the so-called struggle against racism and white supremacy into a fetish? Do we get off on gloom, despair, and agony? Do we endorse the concept of being long-suffering, like that's in the Bible? When Black African people are presented with the solution of land, infrastructure, and nationhood, why do they run away from or ignore this message and gravitate towards the bitching, moaning, complaining, teary-eyed, snotty-nosed, drama-filled content of the impractically ineffective talking heads of the vague abstraction, otherwise known as the conscious community? Join us tonight for this discussion. One. All right. The reason why I came up with this topic, this has been something that's been on my mind for a while. It's like, it seems to me that black folks are more interested in misery and suffering and talking about gloom, despair, and agony, and just this process of this battle, not only with the white man, but with themselves. It's like this struggle has to continue. The struggle is perpetual. The struggle never ends. And that's why I say the struggle continues. Like that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? It's annoying to me. Because we should be talking about, see, this is the reason why I like surrounding myself with intelligent people. I like surrounding myself with people who have a desire to want to learn. You know, people that have a desire to want to do something. Because when you surround yourself with people like that, you don't really have time for struggling. You don't really have time for misery and depression and despair and agony. We know where we're at. We're living in the belly of the beast here in America. But a lot of us, on an individual level, have handled their business in terms of their own personal life or their family. A lot of it had to do with luck. A lot of it had to do with how you were raised and your parents, how they were raised. You know, it's generational. But I like to surround myself with result-oriented people, people that are into results. When we have a project, if everybody has it in their mind that no matter what obstacles we come across, we will overcome them to get this project completed. That's the type of people I like to surround myself with. And when you're surrounded with people like that, you do not have time to be discussing misery, making molehills into mountains, and engaging in what I call Negro stalling tactics. We have to have the solution. We have come to the conclusion that the solution is land, infrastructure, and nationhood. That's the solution. An independent diaspora nation state on the continent of our ancestors. That is the solution. That's the end game. So, if that's the end game, why are we being distracted by all of this bullshit? Why are we being distracted by, we're gonna simultaneously try to establish a nation state on the continent and try to fix the ills of America at the same time? I mean, what are we doing? To me, that's a lack of focus. If we have a goal and we have a vision and we have an end game, then what we should be doing is actively engaging in the process of completing and seeing that end game to its resolution. Anything else is a distraction and bullshit. And it seems like we just love that. It's like I was talking with Dev, and he hasn't called in yet. He hasn't been feeling too good, so y'all send him your love and your best wishes. Hopefully he'll get on tonight. But I was talking to him, and I was saying, you know, I refuse to dumb down my content because I could have took the easy route and just, you know, see what's in the current events of the day and just create shows based off current events, giving my commentary on shit that I don't give a fuck about. Or I can do my shows when I feel like doing them and do them when I really want to talk about something that that's on my mind, that I want to get off and that I want to speak about. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just do shit mechanically, just do stuff and talk about issues that are popular issues just for views. I don't give a fuck about views. I don't give a fuck about subscribers. I don't care how many people. If I had 10 subscribers, because right now I got like 20, almost 2,300 or something like that. If I had 10 and those subscribers were actively trying to do something, people that I can work with and build with, not just online but offline, I would treasure that more than 50,000 subscribers that just sit in there. You know, it looks good on your page. Oh, 50,000. So I see people, 50,000 subscribers. You got a group with 25,000 members. How the fuck you going to have a group with 25,000 members and you ain't did shit? There's nothing tangible and concrete that you can point to say, this is a result of these 25,000 people that's in my group. I would much rather have 100. If they was active, if they were trying to do something, if they were somebody that I can build with. You know, I learn a lot about myself as each day goes by, man. And one of the things that frustrates the hell out of me is our lack of focus. You know what I'm saying? We get distracted by bullshit. We constantly creating mountains out of molehills. You know? And it is frustrating. And like I said, I was talking to Dev, like, it's frustrating when you can't express or have a conversation about subject matter because people are so emotionally attached to it that they start, like, I'll give you an example. There was two brothers who was longtime subscribers to my channel. And somehow the conversation turned to homosexuality. And then I gave my opinion on homosexuality because the discussion was around whether it was a choice or whether you're born that way or something like that. And I was speaking about it, and I said, you know, like, before, when I was growing up, when I was younger, I used to always think that it was a choice. And as I thought about it and I learned more, that didn't make sense to me. Because if you say that it's a choice, then am I choosing to be straight? And if I'm choosing to be straight, can I choose to be gay too? So is that a struggle that you go through daily? Like, damn, what am I going to choose today? What orientation am I going to choose? So it didn't make any sense. I said, I'm straight. I was hardwired as a straight man in my mother's womb. Ain't no fucking choice. It's who I am. So if I can say that and make that claim for me, why is it so odd for a gay person to make that claim? I made that argument, we were just talking about it. Does that mean that I'm pro-homosexual? You see, that's the problem is Negroes is too emotionally invested in bullshit. The moment you challenge any of their beliefs, and the beliefs are basically on shaky ground anyway, all of a sudden you get now all of a sudden you the enemy, you a coon, you this, you an agent, all this other bullshit because niggas can't have a conversation about shit without getting emotional about it. You know, in the streets they call that bitch nigga shit. That's what they call that. You know, but in the conscious community, that's normal. some of the most emotional people, I'm talking male or female, I've experienced in the conscious community. Some of them are even family members. You know what I'm saying? That's how close it gets. When the fuck are we going to decide that we want to do something? When are we going to decide that, first of all, the solution is out there. The BAIO has put out the talking points of land, infrastructure, nationhood. All these other stupid-ass motherfuckers coming up with all of this bullshit about Native, they Native American, they was here first, we can do it right here. All this bullshit that we have smashed into 1,000 pieces, 1,000,000 pieces, stomped into a corner. All these people's talking points is curled up in the fetal position because we busted their ass. I haven't seen anybody come with any counter to anything that we're saying that trumps land, infrastructure, nationhood, and an independent nation state. Nobody. But yet, we want to sit here and engage with these people as if they're actually relevant to the conversation. You know, it's frustrating for a personality like mine because it's like when I get on a project and when I get on any type of thing, I like to complete the project. I like to go about the process of doing what I need to do until the project is completed. That's what I like to do. I get focused. I don't get caught up in it. Like when I do production, I've done production, and in the middle of a production, and this is the true story. In the middle of a production, and we were working with two girls, and the girl is changing, and she calls me into the bathroom and gets naked in front of me because she's trying to get hit off. The first thing going through my mind is, we spending money on this production. What the fuck is you doing? Get your clothes on and get out there so we can film your ass and get this shoot over with. That's the only thing that goes through my mind. If we're doing something, this is what we have to do. And everything else is a distraction, man. But I work with people in the past that don't have that same philosophy. You know, fuck the production, fuck completing the project. Oh, shit, I'm going to get some ass. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm telling you, man, it's a source of frustration for me because our people just love drama. They just love misery. And so for a person like me who doesn't want to engage in negativity, doesn't want to engage in drama, doesn't want to engage in fighting and going back and forth with people who have no intentions of seeing things from your point of view and who only want to battle against you. Because my thing is, what are we battling for? Like at the end of the battle, what do I get out of it? Did I convince you that my way is correct and then now you've come along to my side? Did I belittle you and make you look like a fool? And what do I get out of that? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's like. It's hard for me to engage in shit when I don't know what the end game to it is. If I'm facing somebody who has absolutely no intention of listening to me and hearing things from my point of view and trying to see how I could be right about something, then I'm wasting my time. And so the back and forth between me and this person could be entertaining for the listener, but at the end of the day, nothing has been done. There's been no progress made, and time has been wasted. So I want to bring in some people. I see my brother here, Brother Minister, and I want to bring him in so we can discuss some things. Minister Dawood.
Peace, brother. How are you?
Peace. I'm good, man. I'm just I don't know if you've been listening, but I'm just really frustrated, man. Really frustrated with just bullshit. But I'm going to give you the floor, man. I'm going to give you the floor. What's on your mind?
I thank you for that. You're the man. I mean, I love listening to your show and what you're saying. I had this discussion with somebody earlier today, and basically somebody had posted a picture, a meme in a group that I was a part of, and the meme was talking about how basically, how they nowadays they have these memes where somebody shares their experience and then they make it a meme. So in any event, the person shared the meme, and in the meme they said something to the effect of, I don't want to hurt my kids by giving them certain names because we live in America, and by giving them certain names that, it halts their progress, and this and the next thing, you should give them regular names and not doom them to be unprosperous. So I said, listen, first off, you know what I'm saying, I have 5 children. They all have Muslim names. I said, but my thing is if America don't like that, tough. I said, because my children have enough of daddy in them to change the context. So, a couple of people liked the comment, and then this one sister decided to take issue with this. And this is the crux of from a lot of the stuff that me and you talk about. And that is, the sister says, she goes, listen, I hear what you're saying. I even applaud it. She said, but what happens when, have you ever looked at the fact that your children could be held back from doing, basically some doors opening? They may not get some interviews. They may not be able to enter some arenas because of their name. I said, listen, sister, first of all, my first and middle government name is an Arabic name. And my mother and father are not Muslims. They just named me that during the Black Power era. I said, and I'm a monster at what I do. Wherever I go, I have to say, praise is due to Allah. I'm one of the most highest paid people wherever I go. I said, it's not according to your name. You're following that Bill Cosby stuff. And how did that work out for William Cosby when they finally decided to take his black behind down? I said, but the bigger picture is you're arguing against, the name when you should be thinking about the system. What is messed up about the system? Let's just say you want to take an indigenous African name. You're telling me that you're going to take and you don't believe in Christianity, you don't believe in white names, you don't believe in none of that stuff. You're telling me that you're going to sacrifice taking an indigenous name, let's just say even if it's the clan of your family, you're not going to take that name because of success for your family. You're going to sacrifice that because that makes white people feel good and you can get a job with them or you can do business with them if your name is a little bit better. You are not really dealing with the problem. The problem is that you're living in a nation that is discriminating against your name because they want you to be like them. And if you want to really deal with it, then you should really think about getting aboard with Nationhood, because with Nationhood, you could have whatever kind of name that you want to in a nation of black people, for black people, off the shores of America. And to me, I didn't get no response from this yet, but to me, all the people in the thread, they were saying, man, I wish I had a different name. I wish I could have named this, that, and the next thing. I'm sitting there, I'm like, my God, you guys, I can't believe you guys are having this discussion. The answer is not to change your name. The answer is to get your own. What are you talking about? And so I feel your frustration because for me, I think what frustrates me, you, and other people is we see the answer. The answer is not to change your name. That's a damn Band-Aid. The answer is to put yourself in a different context so you can have whatever name that you want to, because all of our names are not necessarily ghetto names. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you may have Shanae and this, that, and the next thing, but if you wanted to name yourself Shanae, what the hell? How does that stop you from getting a job if you are a monster at what you do? How does that stop you from getting a job if you graduated in the top 5 in your class, top 5 percentile? Why would you not be able to get a job? And why would people not want to deal with you because your name is Shanae? And I guess the last thing I want to say is I worked in the hospital for years doing electronic security. And the top names in the hospital was not Heather, Bill, Katie, Kathy. You know what they were? They were Abdul Rahim and all. I can't really think of any Indian names right now, and Asian names. Basically, it's Asians and Indians and continental Africans that are ruining the medical industry. They don't have American names. So these professionals from all of these countries have their national name and they're respected in the field and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, doesn't that shoot your argument in the face that you by having a ghetto name you can't go anywhere, it's a big time excuse. But the bigger context to me is the fact that when we as black people, we have learned we don't want to deal with the issue. The issue that we really want to deal with is we just want to deal with how to lubricate white society in America and make life a little bit more comfortable for us, and at nighttime become Black Power Joe or Black Power Bill. And to me, that's tired. I don't want to deal with this no more. I want to change the context for the next generation.
Exactly. And you know what, Mister? I keep it even more realer. I keep it 100% on this, and I think this is the perfect analogy. Whenever those people start talking that stuff about, like, usually it's that Sarge from A Soldier Story, and like you said, Bill Cosby, they got this philosophy that if you dress right and you talk right and you act right, then eventually white people will respect you. Because that's what it's all about. It's about getting the respect of white folks. And I always say especially when I hear a brother say that, I say, you know what? You would survive well in jail because you're the type of dude that'll let a dude put you in poom-poom shorts and screw you every night just so you can have safety and protection.
Word.
I keep it 100 with him because that's the philosophy. All you want is I don't want nobody bothering me, so I take a little dick just so I can be protected, just so I can feel safe and secure. But they don't like to hear that. They don't, because then they want to be the man and not be the man simultaneously.
Exactly. I can't believe it, bro. Did you? Well, wait. You wanted me to talk about the situation, though, right?
If you want to, it's up to you.
Okay, all right then. Well,
I want you to because I want to know what happened. So.
Okay, so
you can tell me.
What went down was I logged onto Facebook, right, and I'm friends with all the AIO members. So this dude, this Chisoro a.k.a, I forget exactly what his last name is right now. Dude, he has the 7 a.m. logo, and I think that he's come to Johnny Ace for some reason. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not in no circles with Johnny Ace's in. But either way, so whatever. He basically posted on College Genesis page, he basically posted something about the Nation of Islam Constitution. So, of course, that raised my flag. I'm like, what is he talking about? So he posted one part of the Constitution, which is simultaneously a part of our rights and beliefs. And in this, it talks about, us running a separate territory either here or someplace else, and we believe that it should be supported by America for 25 years. This is something I talked about on many occasions. So he posted this on College Genesis page, and then after that he goes, the Nation of Islam, never said that they wanted to bring African leaders here. They never said that they wanted to, they never said they wanted to support nationhood, this, that, and the next thing. I broke in, and I said, basically, I'm sorry, what really made me comment was this, because, it seemed like something really stupid, like, why are you bringing this up? But what really made me comment was at the end of it, he goes, basically all you need is 3,000 people, and you can start it. The Nation of Islam is said to have 66,000 people with brothers. That is far from the truth. That is far from the truth. But either way, it has 66,000 people. Some say it has 50,000 people. So with all those people, you can send 3,000 people to Africa. You can build your own nation by now, but that's not what they wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. To me, when I look at this dude, he's been trolling us for a while. What I saw in this, and I'm God honest, but I'm not lying. What I saw in this was a shot at DAIO, meaning all you need is 3,000 people. Why you niggas didn't get started yet? You know what I'm saying? So I commented by saying, listen, first of all, for you to use Nationhood Nation as a representative of that Constitution is funny because that nation wasn't up in this Constitution. This Constitution was written in 1940, 1950, okay? So who says that they ever wanted to leave and go someplace? That was my first deconstruction of the straw man. My second deconstruction is listen, brother, I've been a part of a project which was in addition to a hospital, not building a hospital, but in addition to a hospital. There was clearly 5,000 to 6,000 people in that addition. You're going to tell me that you can build a nation with 5,000 people? Is that what you're telling me? Just in addition to a hospital, to 3,000 to 5,000 people, you're talking about painters, electricians, you're talking about security guards, you're talking about fire security guys, and then you're talking about upholstery people, tilers, sheetrockers, all people from all the different trades. It was clearly, brother, 3, 4, the elevator dudes, you name it, 3, 4, 5,000 people, and you're telling me that, you know, you should be able to do it with 3,000 people or whatever. I'm not saying it's not possible, but what I am saying is that there are a lot of people out there, brother, in my judgment, that see us as BAIO and see what we're trying to do. We are in the process of trying our best to draw together as many people as we can so that when the time comes to go, we will be ready. I've said this many, many times. You have Colin said, all of us said. There's people out there that think that we're full of garbage because they think we have the people already. Why don't we just go do it? And so that's why I commented on the post. This nigga had to turn around talking about don't catch a murder charge, getting all emotional. I said, what? Don't catch a murder charge? Well, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I don't care how you try to style it. You're trying to tell me that because I'm criticizing your point, you're going to murder me? So at first I'm like, yo, man, listen. You mean, like, we could do whatever you want to do, but then, my temper got the best of me, and I told dude, like, listen, I'll give you my phone number, my email, my inbox, whatever it is you want. I don't need nobody. It's not like I'm going to get my version of the FOI on you or any street. I will see you myself, B. I will see you myself. So then, the thread goes down, and then basically Colin jumps in eventually, and the dude says, oh, y'all being tribal, and this is gangsterism. Nigga, you the one that threw out the threat. Listen, Hollis, I've been on Facebook since 2009. Ain't nobody threatened me ever on Facebook until this dude did.
It's always the ones who do the threatening is projecting. You notice that?
Yep.
You notice that, Minister? It's like the ones who are doing the act are always accusing other people of doing it.
Yeah. If you didn't introduce murder into the conversation, nobody would have said nothing. And to me,
you throw the rock and then hide your hand.
Exactly. Yep. Because even after all the stuff that we went through with Sarge and the rest of them, nobody ever threatened Sarge's life.
Right.
And to my knowledge, as much as I can't stand him, Sarge ain't never threatened none of our lives. You know what I'm saying? So where do you get off? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But I'm the wrong.
And that's why, which brings it full circle. This is what brings it full circle for me. We need to. And I've said this before. My channel and my world is not the fucking Iowa caucus.
Right.
It's not for you to have. I have freedom of speech to say. You can say whatever the fuck you want to on your own shit, not on mine. It's like my house.
Right.
And I always compare it to that. Do I just leave my front door open for anybody to come in and they can do whatever the hell they want to do? No. I let you in if I want to, and if I don't want you in here, you ain't going to be in here.
Right.
And I look at my presence in my circle online the same way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I don't have time for people. So if anybody because you can tell who legitimately is asking questions because they want to know something or because they're trying to understand where you're coming from. And you know who's just being belligerent. You know, who just wants to fight. And my thing is, I don't have time to fight because, first of all, I believe what John Henry Clark used to say. John Henry Clark said, he only debates his peers. Everybody else he teaches. Right.
Truth be told.
Yep. I'm not gonna go. And it's one thing that I've always remembered. I don't know where this saying is from, but I've always remembered it, and I've kept it. If a dog barks at the moon, nobody notices. Nobody says anything. But if the moon barks back at the dog, then the dog becomes famous.
That's true. This is true.
You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
If I'm going to go against somebody, if I'm going to get into a debate, it's going to have to be with somebody that's worthy of being debated. I'm not going to get into a debate with a clown, with a bitch-ass nigga. And that dude that you talking about is a bitch-ass nigga. I done blocked him out of my world a long time ago.
Yeah.
All they want to do is fight.
You saying that today? I didn't know that.
Yeah, all they want to do is fight. All they want to do is be, belligerent, counter everything that you say, with really no end game in sight. It's just point for point for no reason whatsoever. But this is what we're dealing with, and that's the reason why I came up with the title of this show. It's the struggle fetish. It's like people is engaged in all types of lunacy, everything except the solution.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The piggyback.
And I know you, Minister. You, Minister, me, Thomas, BAI, all the brothers in the BAIO. I believe that we're trying to accomplish something. I believe that we're trying to build a nation state. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do too.
And so that's the most important thing. All these silly Negroes don't really matter. And it's going to happen. It's already happening. Because they don't know what we're doing. And see, that's another factor. They don't know what we're doing. So what they're doing is they're using reverse psychology. They're throwing out shit so they can see what we say, so they can try to figure out what's going on.
Right. That's true. We don't give them nothing.
How are you going to do this? What did I say before? It's like, you can't do this, you can't do that. How are you going to do that? And then they turn around after telling you that you can't do something and say, well, what's your game plan?
Right.
What's your blueprint?
Right.
And like I said, it's like you go into the New York Giants and telling y'all can't beat the Jets, but can I see your playbook?
Yep. If you would.
It's all bullshit, man. All bullshit.
I think we could trace struggle fetish, the very first beginning of struggle fetish, back to sitcoms in the 70s. And you know what I'm talking about. Just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt grow, cooking how it all looks at me down. Yeah.
Yeah. I should have got that. I should have played that one. That fits perfectly.
That's the beginning of it all.
Yeah. That's because that's real. That's real. That's what we determined is real.
The struggle. Some people relish in the struggle. Like, I it's so funny. There's this chick, right, I know I'm cool with, and she asked me to do a favor for her, right? So I'm thinking she got her money with her, right? So it's only like $5. It wasn't a big deal. But, so she asked me to meet at the bank. And I say, well, I'm figuring she asked me to meet at the bank because it's her bank. She's like, well, I thought you had a bank account here. I'm black. I ain't got no bank account. I'm like,
wow.
My God. Oh, you're killing me loud. Oh.
It seems like they've taken the vision just been snatched away from our people collectively. It's like we have the inability to have a vision. And in a vision that's a good vision. You know? Like, how do you see your life being? What type of life do you want? Like, that question I think people don't even ask themselves. It's just, like you said, struggling and surviving, living day to day, which is what I call a bird's existence.
Exactly. Subsistence.
But when you have a vision, and especially, like, I really know, like, I think everybody on this phone can relate to this. and this is not an arrogant thing, but I am so tired of having conversations and making points and having them, and you can literally see the points flying over people's heads.
Yep.
Like you're making a point, yep. And they don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean,
yep. That describes the situation that I went through earlier today when I was dialoguing with homegirl about, why are you arguing with me about having a quote-unquote abnormal name or ghetto name or whatever, when the real culprit is the fact that you're in a system that doesn't respect the fact that you have whatever your name is in the first place. It's not looking at you for your skills or whether you can do the job, but they're basically going to discriminate against your name. Don't you understand that it's deeper than just your name, that there's something that they're using you as a marker? You know what I'm saying? And then I even have some people on this thread, brother, say, I'm so glad that I have a regular name because I'm dark-skinned and I have nappy hair. And, when I walk in there and I tell them what my first name is, I can't use the name, all of a sudden their faces smile. I'm like, are you serious?
A regular name? What's a regular name?
Like Jonathan. Like a regular traditional name.
An Anglo name, basically an Anglo name.
Bill, John, stuff like that.
Yeah, my mom actually thinks.
Regular name.
That's code word for Anglo for watch my whole life.
I'm sorry, guys.
And it's the same thing with the hairstyle. Like, they that person they say, you gotta have a certain hairstyle or you won't get hired. Or you gotta be, wait till you be on the job for a little bit and then you could have your dread, And,
right.
I don't know. Maybe I was cut from a different cloth. I changed Con Ed policy when I got to that job. Because one of the supervisors, like with my hair, I wear like a wrap sometimes. And one of the supervisors asked me to take my wrap off. I'm like, are you? Hell no.
Right.
And they tried to take it and make a case out of it. So I took it and went as far as it can go. And now everybody can wear their wrap.
Right. That's what's up.
You can't allow people to just and I'm saying and the thing about it is they so ignorant that they don't even freaking know that a lot of this stuff that they allow people to do is not religious, it's cultural.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like they try to say, oh well, religious. I said, you show me anywhere in the Bible where it says anything about a yarmulke. Where?
No place at all.
That's cultural. It has nothing to do with religion.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it is. It's like if you don't fight for your shit, then it will be taken. That's the bottom line. And a lot of people are very, a lot of people adapt very quickly. Those are the people that, they usually adapt very well in jail.
Right, but that's the point, though. These people are already taken, and they're already taken in their mind. So, like, when you talk nationhood to them, it's completely different language. That's what I'm saying. It's a completely different language. Which segment of they think like that.
So, Big Hollow, let me understand your premise with the premise of struggle fetish is basically that we as a people are, I guess, enamored or have a fetish with our downfalls, and this kind of relates to the fact that we post on social media the world star hip hop fights. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that quote unquote scratches with black people. Is that the premise?
Right. Yeah. And is another, that term in the Bible where it says long suffering, which it used to bother me when I was a kid, and it still bothers me now. This concept of long suffering, because I learned way back that how come we the only people long suffering?
Exactly.
Exactly.
How come you got everybody else reading that Bible and they living good lives and everything is fine and work, but we long suffering?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Who other than a slave master would come up with that bullshit?
Yeah. Yo, I gotta make you laugh about something. So you know my man that's referring to his sister, right? Back when we was in school, he had a 300Z. He had a Datsun, and the front of his bumper said "Struggling Production" fly on the back. Struggling Production.
Yeah.
Used to call the Lexus 300 Struggling Productions.
And you know what makes it even more frustrating is that we don't have to. We really don't have to.
Right.
We have the capability to create a reality that's good for all of us. We really have the capability to do that. But people are much more comfortable with struggle. They must, like I said, struggle is a fetish right now. And you know what a fetish is? You know, they turn it into a fetish. It's like the white man, and you know, it's like they're on automatic pilot when it comes to racism and white supremacy. Everything is racism and white supremacy. Racism and white supremacy is everywhere. It's even on Mars.
Word.
It's the ether. It's the ether, son.
Yeah. If we go to Krypton, it's going to be racism and white supremacy. It don't matter where we go. You know, that, oh my God, that is batted person syndrome. I did shows on this. It's batted person syndrome. It's when you beat somebody up. It's like Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. You beat somebody up enough times and you do as much damage as you can to them, you become like a god. And they don't feel that they can ever overcome you, and they carry that, and that's intergenerationally.
If I could share, bro, like when I was younger in the ministry, I remember I used to get up on the roster, you know, when I first converted. You know how you are when you first come to conscious and you come alive, and everything on the planet is the white man's fault. You know what I'm saying? If you miss the bus, it's the white man's fault. If the criminal comes out, it's the white man's fault. So, word is one, I could now wait to hit the rock and express my anger against the evil white man. And, you know, one of the first things my teacher taught me, because I said it so much, he said, for 90 days, you are not allowed to say anything about the white man or anything like that. And boy, did that hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because that was my whole game. We just took a major, it's like taking somebody's major go-to move and they're a football, basketball player. I was like, damn, I have to actually study that.
That was a crossover.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, ankle breaker.
Number two, and most importantly, though, is because now, and I'm going somewhere with this, and you're going to relate. Because now I couldn't talk about the white man, you know what I degenerated into? I degenerated into talking about black people. We have filthy houses. We got roaches going on the, you know, we can't even take our garbage out. We got garbage in the streets, and we just added the next thing. And he was like, oh, no, brother, I'm going to have to kick you down for a whole year. You keep talking that. I'm like, what did I do now? He's like, brother, you know, we don't say things that's degrading to black people. So if you notice, like, if you listen to my shows or anything that I've ever done orally or even the way I write, I always try to use the terminology we instead of you. I always try to talk about us instead of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm really pissed off. And the reason being is that, first of all, you always have to remember that you're a part of that. Even if you're middle class or you're upper class, you're a part of what you're talking about. So when you address the problems that we face as a people, if you address it from a subjective, or not, I won't say subjective, but if you from a condescending point of view, you guys this and you guys that, that's not me, that's y'all. And this, that, and the next thing. Well, 90% of the people that you're talking to, you're going to turn them away. But number two, more importantly, you have to have, this is what I'm kind of, I don't know, I knew you were talking about this all about somebody's show or someplace somehow. I don't remember exactly how we were talking about it. But you you will eventually hit a low point in your life. You will either come down with some kind of disease, you will go bankrupt. Something will happen to you. And when you do, that condescending high horse that we are on, we're going to come down off that bad boy really fast. And unfortunately, it's a far fall if you was on a really high mountain. But it's not a far fall if we was on a low mountain because we was always down with the people. For me, having fell, came back, you know what I'm saying, I got enough experience to know that anything that my people are going through or anything that my people are doing, I'm not too far from doing it. That's another thing that I think a lot of people don't realize who don't do nothing but mash on black people. What you don't realize is you're only 2 to 3 degrees of separation from the shit that you keep claiming that they do. You understand? And if you go through really hard times, or you go through some very, very hard family thing, or just let's just say you married somebody and you find out that they freaking banging somebody else, and it's totally devastating, emotionally devastating. You'll never know what a person will do until they put in that kind of situation. So here it is, you banging out on people saying that they doing this and they doing that, and look at this and look at that. But the reality situation is that you will not realize that that's you. You know what I'm saying? My teacher, and I'm going to shut up by saying this, my teacher used to teach us a long time ago. He used to say, they give us a spooky idea of what's called a death angel. He said, but to me, a death angel is when you come across somebody that's doing something that you used to struggle with. And a lot of times when you pass by or come across that person, that's the universe of God trying to remind you, you don't really live this yet. And what you don't realize is this is threatening to overtake you, and you may not even notice it. So there will be times, man, you know what I'm saying, because it's been like 24, 25 years since I've actually smoked weed or drank or anything like that. I'm not saying I didn't have to struggle with it, you know what I'm saying, but at this point I'm kind of leveled off. But every once in a while, I'm going to run into somebody, and they really need deep into it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't look down on them. I just have to thank God that's not me anymore and try to help them. But sometimes I ask myself, why did I run into this person? You know what I'm saying? Is there something somebody's trying to tell me by me running into this person? Because sometimes when you feel desperate and you don't have answers, and, you know what I'm saying, you start grasping for straws, you never know. Now, I'm not saying that, beer is a vice, to those of us that are Muslims and things like that. To some people, it's just something that you drink or whatever. But too much of anything is abuse. We all know that. So, therefore, even if you all have different views on smoking weed or not smoking weed, beer, drink, whatever, but too much of anything is abuse. And too much of anything will cause you to ruin your life. So, beer as a thing, what I'm saying is that you just never know what you would do as a person, you know what I'm saying, under some really messed up situations. And I guess this really goes to the big picture of Howard's point in the show, which is, quite frankly, in America, in the country of America, the way we as a people are living, the environment is totally conducive to all the stuff that you're saying that black people are struggling with. So when you put black people down, when we put black people down and say, y'all doing this and y'all doing that, don't you realize it's the context that even gives them the opportunity to do it in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because children, if you have children, right,
beautiful.
You know what I'm saying, you will make sure in your house that you make the house as safe as possible because you don't want your child tipping over hot water onto themselves. You don't want them to drink Clorox. You have a child-proof your house. You can tell a person's house if they got children by the shit that they leave out. If they leave out stuff, then they don't have no children. But if all kinds of stuff kind of lethal or dangerous is up, then there's children in the house. You don't even have to be told. That's how back in the day when I used to run the streets or whatever, you used to be able to tell if a woman had children or not and she was lying. Because you could look at her house and see, if there's certain stuff out, then she, maybe she don't have children. But, if everything is child-proof, then this girl got children, she's just lying. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, therefore, it's the same thing. You don't put people in a situation where they even can use this. We wouldn't even be having this discussion as far as I'm concerned. And that, to me, is the essence of struggle fetish. Struggle fetish deals with the fact that we as a people don't want to change the host environment of the struggle. We just want to have a fetish with the behaviors and the end result. And that's what the BIO is here to change.
Yep.
Wow. You broke it down.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. That's the whole thing right there.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? What else is there to say? Because that's it, man. It's like it's the chase. You know, it's like I remember in the movie The Dark Knight, the Joker said, I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one.
Wow. I remember that.
You know? Wow. And that's how people are. It's like it's not the thing, the end game for them. Because we're about the end game. Like the question that you asked, what is your end game? We're about the end game.
Right.
If you're not about the end game, then you're just about the chase.
Right.
And that's the reason why they can't relate. Because all they want to do, they love and like I said, the one thing that I have underestimated, and I admit this freely, I had no idea how much Negroes loved America. And because I used to always think that it was the 85ers that loved America.
Right.
Only the past few years have I discovered that the so-called blackity black, super black Negroes love America just as hard.
Yeah.
Just as hard.
Not more.
I've gotten more resistance from those people, the people in the so-called cultural conscious community. I've gotten more resistance from them than the 85ers.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings me to question mark. Is that goes back to the whole 2 to 5% thing that we always talk about? Do you think it's really 2 to 5% that would be willing at this stage?
Well, me and my friend Lolita from Ohio, we had a joke because it's the 85, which is the deaf, dumb, and blind. The 10% that know the truth and deceive, and then you got the 5%, poor righteous teachers. Me and her used to joke that it's really the 2.5%. Because I think the other 2.5 went to the 10%. So now it's 12 something.
It might be like the 5% of the 5%.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's 0.05% is more accurate. To be honest, if you remember,
those numbers have changed. A lot of people thought that it was very prosperous. It was prosperous to be a pimp. So they went to the other side.
That's what I was going to say. That it's a lot of people who look to pimp the game. They feel like they've given enough, right? And so they feel like they need a return on their investment. So that's why you see everybody got all these courses, Black Wealth Boot Camp.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
That's what it is, man. It's a hustle. What did I say on my show? It's about pimps and hoes. Pimps and hoes.
Mm-hmm.
And, pimps, hoes, and tricks. Because the way it really works, right, the pimps are the people in the top 1% bracket because they're basically getting it from both ends, right? Because whether you're wealthy or poor, I'll give you a good example, right? J.P. Morgan Chase. J.P. Morgan Chase, right, the original John Pierpont Morgan was one of the people that helped to create the Federal Reserve, right? So J.P. Morgan Chase has no qualms about telling people that they're really about rich people. They'll let you know in a heartbeat, like if you do business with them and you got like a 0% offer on a credit card or something like that, they'll send you a message saying, well, if you keep your account profitable, that's how they talk. And then they even collect money from welfare payments. So, for instance, for instance, whenever there's like benefits for unemployment welfare payments, about 28 to 30% of those are processed through J.P. Morgan Bank. So they're making money off the rich and the poor, right? So the pimp is making the money off of the hoe and the trick, right? So the trick in the equation, the people in the middle brackets, because they subsidize the rich because they're paying a larger percentage of their income, right? And they're also subsidizing people who don't have the financial wherewithal. So they're getting squeezed on both ends. They're the trick. And the hoe is the person who's on the bottom rung that they don't really have any control. They're like someone tells them where to go, when to go, who to be with, and that's the person who's on public assistance. They get benefits, but they they really don't have any control over their life.
Mm.